want to open the space and we want to do a brief Kriya practice. Just it takes 3-4 minutes. It's a specific. I will tell you a little more, and then we're gonna do the process all together. Okay, to the process of divine touch,
Connection.
the connection. Yes, and then we're gonna talk a little bit. We're gonna see how we are and what we have been going, things have gone through these days, and then we're gonna do other things. But one very important thing that we're gonna do is to do also divine touch within all of us. Okay. We're probably gonna do before that, before doing the healing, kind of like a small practice of white tantra, just to get a little bit the energy in a specific way. So let's open the space, chanting the Aum. So let's close our eyes and just take a few deep breaths. Try to relax the tensions in your body and your face. Relax your abdomen and your diaphragm. And try to connect with your body, with your sensations, with the breath. And so we're gonna open the space with the Aum that we're gonna vibrate 3 times. And let's bring palms together in praying mudra in the middle of our chest. Take a few moments to feel the connection of your palms and fingers. And open your heart with a pure intention of just bringing to your present moment the most pure and beautiful energy, and bring to yourself and everyone else here truth, wisdom, light, unconditional love. Bring that intention into your heart, your mind, all your body, all your subtle bodies. Make it vibrate as powerful as possible. Feel it, imagine it. Have a strong desire of all of that happening right here, right now. This pure intention will help us open this beautiful gathering, this beautiful moment, to just be in a greater alignment with our true identity, the true meaning of who we are and why we are here. And let's desire at least that all of what's going to happen today is for our greatest good and the all. For transcending our own limitations, letting go everything that doesn't serve us, to become that pure conduit of divine grace and love and light, to be given the possibility of walking with the steps of God, embracing that higher perspective of what is that we are here for. Let's take 3 deep breaths in, and then we will open the space with the Aum. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Inhale deep and exhale. And take the last deep in. Breathe in. Last time. Take a deep breath and hold the breath in and connect within with your pillar of light. Expand it in every direction, up and down. And slowly exhale. You can relax your arms and slowly come back and open your eyes. So before we start the divine touch connection, we're gonna do a practice that we use in Kundalini Yoga that is for, I think the translation will be to expand your caliber. I don't know if that's a word in English, but there's a word in Spanish that it means kind of your depth, your strength, your will, like. And so this is done just for a few minutes, but if we do it good, it really changes our energy and strengthen our nervous system very rapidly.
You're the sweetness that embraces me. You're the all-pervading truth and beauty.
Take a deep breath in and hold it in. Close your eyes.
You're the compassion in space, and I bow to you.
Now exhale and take a deep inhalation again. Hold it in and exhale and relax. Keep your eyes closed and just let everything settle down. Take a deep breath in and exhale.
Staying with our eyes closed and our back straight, let's start with the divine touch connection. So for some moments, let's start visualizing our pillar of light. We can deepen our breath, inhaling deep, exhaling deep, so we can, through the breath, make the intention to connect deeper into the center of the earth, and also deeper up until the source. And feeling our breath, we also can feel these two pathways, up and down, going through us, through our Shushmana central channel. It's like all our energy is coming, being attracted to our Shushmana central channel. And this channel start to be shine with a beautiful light, golden light that is aligning ourselves, connecting to our truth, connecting to the fractals of our soul, to our guides, to the divine supporting, to our higher divine self, to Christ consciousness, to our divinity. It's helping us to be grounded, bringing that light to the present moment, so we can expand it afterwards. We can shine from our inside, from within, and make the last deep breath, visualizing the pillar of light, and then relax your breath, coming back to the normal state. Feel the pillar of light, feel the connection, and go deep inside of you, much deeper. And let's repeat, I am, I am. You and me are one. One is eternal. Eternal is divine love. Divine love, light creates. I am spirit. And the divine grace is eternal in me. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. We are all one. Inhale deep. Exhale. Let's keep going and say, I connect to the inner wisdom of my body. Connect to the inner wisdom of my body. I'm connected. Let's draw the spiritual anchoring symbol in front of us. And let's say, I activate the spiritual anchoring symbol.
I activate the spiritual anchoring system.
And the connection with my higher divine self.
And the connection with my higher divine self.
It is activated.
It is activated.
We are one.
We are one.
Let's draw the opening Mahal portal symbol. I activate the portal opening Mahal symbol.
I activate the
Portal opening Mahal symbol. It is activated.
It is activated.
Now let's draw the Christic light symbol in front of us, connecting with the Christ consciousness, bringing that light and that love to us in this present moment. I activate the Christic light symbol.
I activate the Christic light symbol.
It is activated.
It is activated.
And let's bring our hands with our palms. Let's grab this symbol, this beautiful symbol, and with prayer mudra, let's place them on top of our head and imagine this symbol coming in, activating the pineal gland and coming down all the way through our Shushmana central channel and coming down from our root chakra, rounding into earth. Inhale. Exhale and bring prayer mudra to your third eye to expand our mind through Christ consciousness. Inhale. Exhale, bring palms together to the heart center to become that light, that Christic light. Inhale. Exhale, and let's move it to our third chakra so it can help us to purify, to release and detoxify ourselves. And let's inhale deep. Exhale, and we can bring palms together again to our heart center. We're going to continue in this activation, this connection to the second level, and let's repeat. I connect with the divine support team.
I connect with the divine support team.
And Christ consciousness.
And Christ consciousness.
I'm connected.
I am connected.
Let's draw in front of us the Sat symbol. And let's say, I activate the Sat symbol.
I activate the Sat symbol.
To see the truth.
To see the truth.
And to be the truth.
And to be the truth.
It is activated.
It is activated.
And let's draw now the I am one symbol in front of us. And let's activate it, saying, I activate the I am one symbol.
I activate the I am one symbol.
I know who I am.
I know who I am.
I am one.
I am one.
One is.
One is.
It is activated.
It is activated.
And let's keep going inwards, deeply inside of us, to feel this connection, to feel the openness surrounding us and inwards, that is connecting us to our truth, to our Satnam, to our true identity, so the Spirit can flow, God can flow through us. When you feel ready, slowly you can come back. And open your eyes.
Thank you for being here. I can feel a totally different energy right now, and for me, it's beautiful. So, thank you for that. We always can bring so much to this world, and sometimes we forget about that. We forget about the possibilities of just aligning ourselves to that it is the truth within us, and that can totally affect our surroundings. Do you feel different, a little different, after this momentary time where we did something out of pure love and a good intention, and opening the space for, becoming something different, something that is more aligned probably with what we really are? I say probably because we have to believe, we have to have faith. But at the end, the whole purpose of a spiritual path is just to get to feel better and feel more lightweight. Not even light. Light doesn't really mean, well, it means something, but it is true that we produce more light when we are more in a spiritual path, but that is not, we can't really see it with our five senses. But it's about the state of, you feel more open, peaceful, like everything is okay right now. And that is the only thing we're looking for, really. And then our neurosis get in our head again, and we start running around and doing things. But that's also okay. It's part of life. But when we keep trying to bring this harmony into our minds, body, our layers of ourselves, every time it will bring more and more into the experience, and we start becoming that, and less the other thing that is our neurotic mind trying to control everything, the ego mind. So, anyone wanna express a little bit, well, whatever it could be, how you feel, but also what have been up to in your life, if you've been okay or not, a little bit maybe about how you have applied your tools, the ones you have learned with us, but also other ones, and how things have been moving around in your life. Anyone want to share a little bit? Well, the other day when we met, we were talking about this. For us also, there have been a lot of changes. Things are, are moving. Even our cars are all have a problem, or they are there, and we can't do anything. And what you said for me, well, it's not a recent experience. This has something. It's something that is I have learned through time. When things start to like crumble a little bit around us, it's just because things are changing. And the beauty about experiencing those changes in peace and more space, and let it kind of happen and unfold, is that we can be open to see a little bit or experience why that is happening also. Let's say an example. All cars are broken, and I have to start, riding a bicycle, whatever. And I'm grateful for that, for example. And then, things start happening in a different way, and it's supposed to be that way. Really, I don't have to resist anything. Just, embrace the things that are happening in a certain way, and that is sometimes the way that we are guided to move out of our comfort zone or our ways of being, and to embrace something new. And as I mentioned the other day, I've seen a lot of people in those, deep changes. well, the ones that I'm more familiar with, that some of you, and the ones that come also to the Kundalini practices. So I think in a certain level there's a thing that is happening worldwide about changing. It has to do a lot with the energies that are in place right now, but also the capacity of what we do with what we learn here in Divine Touch really increase the speed of our evolution. So the depth that we can go in and take those things out that doesn't serve us anymore, it's enhanced, and so we kind of work things more faster. At the same time we're more peaceful. There's more things happening, definitely, and that will continue to happen until certain things within our unconscious mind and collective mind kind of settle down. But it's a tremendous power, the one what we hold, if we can be in peace with the things that happen around our life, even if it's a physical challenge. Like I have experienced this a lot of times. I do have certain challenges sometimes, with health, and I'm like, I love it. I fall in love with that, and when I'm capable of embracing that and not rejecting that, the speed of healing, it's wow. It's like, oh, the pain is going away, disappear, just because I really didn't reject it anymore. I didn't have a fight with the pain or the problem. I just embraced it with love. So that's a very beautiful thing. Thank you for sharing that and for doing that. One thing that you get to start experiencing, all this talk about like embracing our true identity, coming to experience who we really are, that we don't know what that is. We can talk a lot about it, but we need to experience. But there's something that I have felt that is really truthful about experiencing your true identity, is the deep peace that you can have. The more peace you have within, that at the same time it's like you don't do many things, or you don't really do nothing at all. If you go really deep into that state, that is when you start accessing that being that you really are. And so taking steps lower, letting things be, and just try to stay in calm and alignment and love and openness. All of that just brings us peace and more peace and more peace. And so then we can really start experiencing, and observing how things manifest around us. Only when you're calm and open and in peace, then you understand how creation is creating the synchronicities for you to, become that new thing and manifest it. So, yeah, that's definitely something really nice to keep up with and see how that unfolds. Anyone else want to share something?
In my case, something's happened that I'm with so much energy, I'm so connected, and I'm feeling so grateful for, because I'm receiving the energy, and sometimes also I get tired. But for me, it's a thing of moving energy. I feel it's so much in myself, everything that is going on, that that movements of energy and being aware of what is happening, sometimes I feel tired, but then it goes away. Like for me, it's like I feel it like an adjustment, because also it's happening through me. It's a feeling that is happening to me too. So yeah, I always check myself. I do divine touch afterwards, and then I guess start feeling good, or I just rest, and then that judgment. Yes. See, I always do. There's always things there going on, like every person. So doing it to ourselves is so strong. It's really, I feel so strong. Gracias.
I would like to maybe add something. I think it's totally normal that when we do divine touch or any healing in any modality, there could be an experience where you will feel it's very normal to feel what the other person is going through, or the house or the place you're working with, and that is okay. But when you finish, if that doesn't go almost immediately, what happens is that the divine process that is happening, that you're manifesting, is showing you something that you still believe is true. And the basis of that is that you still believe that you are here and you can be affected by something. So that comes to the whole idea that we always talk about, the big illusion, the big Maya. You are either in the illusion, believing that you might be out, but you're still in the illusion, or you're totally outside, being 100%, not 99.999, 100% in alignment with the truth and being a channel of God. So this has been always the case for me. When I do something and then I feel that my energy was still down, I know 100% of the times it is because I got into my role of healer, believing that I'm actually doing something and I can be affected by. So I jump into the illusion. And so what I do is just step out. I do my own things to do that. Sometimes it takes a little longer, depending how deep I went into the illusion. Sometimes I need to start doing breath work and the divine connection, and sometimes it takes me a while. But most of the time, it's just realizing that my ego mind tricked me into believing something that I'm not. And now, most of the cases, 99% of the cases, I just see this in perspective, and immediately everything is gone.
Wow.
Immediately. So it needs practice, but that is the thing. So when we start engaging into this, way of living spirituality, anyway, it's the same at the end, but there's different roles. Everything is an opportunity to see ourselves. What do we hold within ourselves? What do we really believe in? And there's always going to be these moments where we're going to experience something that it's just because we hold that in. God is giving us the opportunity to see this from another perspective and let it go. And will always be the same thing. You either step into the illusion, believing that you're out of it, but you're still always in. This is not a thing of like there's no gray area. It's 1 or 0. It's you are all the time in the ego creation, or you are totally outside. There's nothing in between. Only the belief that you might be aligned with God and in your higher timeline and all that things that we can talk about. So every time we connect, for example, through divine touch, and we do things, there will be shown to us the illusion or the one truth. So if we keep seeing everything from this perspective, you're going to empower yourself and change everything faster and faster until it will be like the quantum snap that we are starting to teach. And things just are going to change. There's no time. There's no need to do a whole process. Step by step, of course, at the beginning, we need to practice, learn, know the energies, align our mind into understanding how to see the illusions of things, to start learning how to step out. But to step out of that, we need to have a lot of strength. And that is when, for example, the practices we do in Kundalini Yoga, the breath work, all of that come into a very important place. It's very important because when we have enough resources of energy, and this is the life force, prana, chi, ki, all of those words, we have enough, there's strength for us to shift the mind. And I'm not talking about the brain, I'm talking about the mind. That is everything around us, around our creation. We just, boom, and and we step into a new world, entire new universe.
I have a little question. So, okay, let's say you catch yourself in the mood. What's the fastest way to get out? Yourself.
That's a self-discovering process. Everything we teach is for you to escape from the illusion. That's the whole purpose of divine touch and whatever we talk, teach, or do. So, at the beginning, we need to access certain steps, in a certain way of a process. You have to maybe breath and do practices, do yoga, do kundalini, whatever. Then you need to have this process of divine touch to move the energies and go through, But what is doing this is building up a truth and strength and alignment so powerful within yourself that later on you don't need to do any of that to get out of those tricky things that something just manifests. They get whoop, in your field, and you start believing this thing that is illusion. And so when you recognize that, then you can be out just by recognizing it.
Wow.
Nothing else.
Yeah.
But for that, there has to be a lot of energy. You have to be very centered. And then your mind, that is not the brain, the mind, you can control it and direct it. So you direct and you control the creation. It makes some sense? So it's just about practicing. That's why what you said, and I don't know who else, maybe you also said, it is so important to, be doing certain things consistently, because this is changing, building an energy, and suddenly that thing that you experience through divine touch connection or divine touch healing session or kundalini yoga or those things, then that thing start being yourself. You become the experience of the practice, and the practice become you. And so there's an alignment. And then it's just very difficult to get out of that alignment. It will happen, but it will be shorter times. You will be more experienced. You will notice that you're going out of alignment, and you will know how to use your resources. Could be a breath, could be this and that, a symbol, could be, any of the resources you have, and you keep coming back, and then the extension of time and the degree of separation will start being less, and then it's just a breathe. And you're in total alignment. And all of those creations disappear. Those illusions go out.
For me, it's a thin line with also divine forgiveness. Divine forgiveness is what we teach in the third level. It's a process of transforming that perspective into the divine perspective. And is where the mind or the belief can shift through the divine forgiveness. That is the Spirit, Holy Spirit job to do with us. That is correct the mind. It's just correct the mind. That is the job of the Spirit. Because we believe in something. We believe sometimes that we did something wrong, or this forgiveness that believe in being a human state, that somebody made something wrong to us and we need to forgive them, or I believe I did something wrong, I need to ask for forgiveness. But God is telling us nobody's doing nothing wrong. Nobody's judging us. It's just the mind, again, that the Maya, that illusion that is judging us all the time, and we are in the guilt, or we are in the suffering and in the fear, So for me, divine forgiveness is that state of everything is perfect. Just to be aware that you are thinking that something touched you, or you are attached with something, or with the thing of the car or anything. And you just can't release that and detach from it, and seeing that just is the mind and the ego trying to control, on trying to change something or being someone different. And divine forgiveness is there in every second, in every moment. For me, it's a saint moment that is correcting the mind all the time, but we need just to be there to ask for it and to be aware that there's something more. it's not just the mind controlling and creating. There's something more deep, or more above, or more lovely, and more connected, and more creative, that is really creating life, really doing through ourselves, being in ourselves. And when we move the perception, or we shift to that state, that divine forgiveness can be, just be. I always remember that divine forgiveness, and for me everything changes. Everything changes. My mind gets corrected. It's like my mind goes into a neutrality state that says, okay, I can detach this. I can be myself just the way I am. And I can open myself to something new, to embrace something that is not in my hands. And I start to see things different. So for me, it's just a shift of perceiving things, or perceiving myself, in which point I am here and now, from where I'm being, from which base I'm saying or doing or connecting with somebody, or yeah. When I do the divine forgiveness, and you know that it's not us doing it, it's just the presence of God, everything shifts so fast. So, well, you both and your three knows that tool, and we can apply it to everything, to any thought. If we are walking in the street and we are the mind that we're just a divine forgiveness, and it's changing. This week I did a healing, and she's always with, I don't know why, many energy interferences, many. That this is the second level, and she asks the healing for that. I feel those energy interferences, and my mind is so confused, and she wants to come here for 1 month of vacation, and my mind is telling, no, why are you going there? And she started feeling this sensation of confusion. And I did a divine touch, and she was so many things that I could see, that things that I don't know. There wasn't octopus, it wasn't black magic, it wasn't none of those in the list. There was something more deep controlling here. And suddenly it came divine forgiveness. Now I'm visualizing a symbol that maybe I will share with you, maybe in the fourth level, I don't know. And comes the symbol, and suddenly a strong energy, I felt it because I feel everything, comes from the inside and came out, and I felt so much peace after that. And she was feeling something also coming out from the throat, and I feel that so strong. For me, it's the portal to everything, divine forgiveness. It's really a gift that is here for us to teach us, because it's teaching me many things, and to use it. But I feel that getting aligned with that is also an attunement. Yes, is what you're saying. It's a process of knowing what we are not. That means knowing the mind, knowing the ego, knowing that it's in control us, and we get frustrated, and yes, we go in this confusion, or maybe our body is in tension, or maybe many things can happen, but we need to be aware of it. Okay, so if I'm not this, who I am. Really, to be attuned to that divine forgiveness process, we need to go through a process to detach from the ego mind, so we are open to really feel and attune ourselves to this divine touch, divine forgiveness essence. And it's waiting for us, so we can really choose this path. Because that's what Jesus says also in the Course of Miracles in this book. If you are in the path of the ego and the fear, and if you're not aware of that, we, the Christ consciousness, the Holy Spirit, divine, can do nothing. Because we are so tight and so dormidos, asleep. And we are on fears all the time that it can't flow because we are not aware of it. God is waiting for us to be aware of that presence. So in the way of feeling what is happening to others is also a way to start to detach of those sensations too. But we need to be conscious about them. Because if not, we are not conscious and we are there. So anytime that we are struggling with anything, with the cars or with the children or with our business or with our partner, every time that we are struggling with something is an opportunity to detach. It's an opportunity to see, okay, I'm not choosing this anymore. I'm not choosing this identification with this suffering or this tension or with this controlling, because I want to go deeper to really feel or be who I really am. And then we can open a space so that divine forgiveness or that Holy Spirit or divinity can really answer to that state. So it can flow. It can show you something. So we need to have it's like a space, it's a breath. It's a breath that we can release the mind and have insight to open and receive. It's just surrendering ourselves. But we need to see that we are in that construction to allow ourselves to release that attachment and see new things, embrace this new us and new energy that wants to flow through us, new ideas, new beliefs, new ways to manifest, yes, new way to experience life in more a peaceful way, yes. So we are feeling it's an opportunity to observe in a different perspective, to detach from it, to allow the Spirit come in and do what is needed, to recognize us in the other person, remembering that the other person is us.
I wanted to. Oh, sorry.
Oh, just to finish, it's a beautiful process of making conscious the unconscious. And to detach from that unconscious mind and to open to something new. That the body is not used to, the mind is not used to, but it's there always for us to connect and to be that. And then we can do things remembering that it's God doing with our hands, God is cooking the bread, God is doing the healing, God is fixing the car or anything, God is making feed the children, and God is seeing through our eyes to the partner, God is touching. So also it's a thing of remembering. It's the Sat Kartar. It's not me. It's not the ego doing nothing. The ego doesn't do nothing. The ego believes that it's doing everything. It's God doing it. Yeah? But we forgive. And the job is come back to remember.
I wanted to touch into what you said about the food because it's the same thing. The food is part of the illusion. And in the science of yoga, most coming from Ayurveda and yoga are one thing really. Ayurveda, how do you pronounce that in English? You say? You know what Ayurveda? That's the way to say the word in English?
Yeah.
You know what is that?
Ayurvedic?
Ayurvedic
Ayurveda?
science.
Yeah.
Ayurvedic, okay. Um, in the science, again from India, but this is also related in other cultures, ancient ones. The food have certain properties, more than the chemical thing that we know. So just to touch into this, for example, if you eat something from underground, or you eat something between 1 meter above the ground, 1 meter up, or something higher, the type of qualities of the food are different.
The elements.
So depending, for example, how you want to experience your mind, your energies, it really is affected by those type of qualities of the food. And there's a general division in Ayurvedic science, in yogic science, of, if you want, and it's obvious, like if you eat something under the ground, you're going to be opening and working more with the root chakra kind of thing. And earth, heaviness, and so usually it's not a good thing to eat anything like potatoes and things like that if you want to meditate, for example. Then I will go to the other extreme. Things are high up, like fruit and trees, all of them have qualities of air, and sometimes could be even ether a little bit. So when you eat those fruits that are high there, they have the quality of air and ethers. Air is air and ethers, so higher chakras from the heart up. And so you will have those qualities in you. And that is just to mention something that is a very ancient science. And really, if you start, that's why a lot of people eat fruits, and they start eating fruits and they feel, energized and connect and clean and, and things like that. And of course, processed food and all of that is just going deep into a rabbit hole and just making a mess out of your energies. But what I want to say is that the yogis, for example, the very powerful ones that can live for hundreds of years, they master, all these physical things. So they either don't eat or they decide to eat things that are poisonous. That anyone that eat that will die fast. Because they are so out of the illusion that the illusion cannot do anything to them. So, for example, they chew, certain plants that if we eat it, we die. No way you're going to be alive. And they eat it, and they transmute that illusion of the food within themselves, and they just keep going with that. And so, when we do fasting, something that happens is that our system engages into a state where, it has to bring resources from other layers. And especially if you do a fasting, knowing spiritual things, being connected, if you do a lot of pranayams, certain ones, and you can start engaging your system into the subtle understanding that is within ourselves, that the body can just bring in energy from the field, like prana, energy. Because at the end, even the science, you eat a banana and will be and what do you eat out of the banana? Really, it's electrons and, particles. That is the one that are processes in the cell, in the mitochondria, and then it produces ATP, and then that's the energy, but the energy is coming from the banana, so why would you eat it? Of course, that is everywhere. The thing is that to activate that, it's about belief. It's about knowing, what is true or not. So I think it is a great experience to live that duality with the food and knowing about this. Sometimes, like when we stop teaching things, I want to eat French fries, and usually I do, because I'm like so up, open. There's so much thing. I eat, French fries, and it's like, and then I have to work myself a little out of that. but it's a fun thing to do for me. I'm learning how to work with illusions. So next time you eat something, it's moving a step forward from just giving the Christic symbol, giving energy to it. You do that, but at the same time you take some time for divine forgiveness, and that is applied in a very, like this is applied in anything, but in the food. I forgive myself for believing that I need to eat to be alive. And if that dives deep into you and you do it very aware, very conscious, you can eat whatever and it will not affect you. But it has to be, you have to be in certain alignment. You have to really believe. You have to bring that divine forgiveness. Why do I believe that I need to eat this to be alive? Like, for me, it's nonsense, but I still eat. And of course, I feel that if I don't eat, I still have that belief that if I don't eat, I will die. But I'm trying to move into, I just eat for fun kind of thing, not for a necessity of survival. Because anything that is survival is ego-based, is control, is fear-based.
And isn't that what, like, the Kundalini and the Nine Touch is really all about? To live life in our higher chakras instead of, like,
No, it's not,
Right.
not that.
Mhm.
But that is a tendency of the understandings, generally speaking, because we are, everyone, not only what we teach and in the Kundalini Yoga also, there's a tendency to always talk about, moving the energy up. But that's halfway of the equation. It's moving it up and down, up and down, up and down. So there's a connection between source and, the lower dimensions. And that could be expressed as the lower chakras, it's the same. So the truth is that we don't need to leave from the ones above. We just need to have them all open in a certain alignment. So there's a constant flow where you are grounded because you have, part of your reality is still there. But you have your mind connected to God. And so then you can bring down all the frequencies, all the informations, and start, dismantling the illusion and just seeing oneness, seeing everything as it is behind the scenes. The union of everything. And so when more people see the unity of everything, like one thing, then suddenly all of these start changing until it doesn't serve any more purpose for the ego. It's not here. So we either decide to really experience this as paradise, or we just go and unite with God, and we are in the one truth heaven. So it's not about it's not about escaping the reality. It's about changing it from within. Yeah, I don't know how to express that. Maybe, but do you like make some sense what I said?
Yeah.
So it's a constant flow. It's a constant movement, up and down, up and down, up and down.
That's why.
So it's like in the science of Kundalini and the yogis, the ancient Tantra's knowledge, it's quite easy to, activate the Kundalini. And a lot of people, we don't talk about these things, but a lot of people that start going to the Kundalini classes, they start having a rise of Kundalini. They see it, their life start changing, they feel different, they're more empowered. That is a rising of the Kundalini. But the difficulty is to sustain it and then bring that awareness back to the body and embody it as a constant flow of truth and divine love. So you were gonna say something, I don't know if it's still there.
Yes, I mean, I just wanted to share exactly what you were mentioning. I'm in the process of detaching a bit more from my ego. So before, it was just my ego, and then the ego. So I really, if it is like a jar, it was just full of it, and I wasn't aware. And it was limiting me with so many things. conversation with the ego. So thank you that you're here, but I don't need you right now, and things like this, like really baby steps. But this is the only thing that is helping me right now to really make a bit more space to bring beautiful energy inside. And I realized that, I mean, I struggle a lot with self-love issues, and after level 3, I was like, so I had this moment of God inside and the truth, and it was like similar like you, like when you were full of love, and I was like, oh my God, I got it now, and I understand why I have all these issues, and I'm so grateful for it, and I know I have all this I'm the perfect example to live the divine touch on myself now and to practice. But it wasn't like that. I was like coming home like really enthusiastic. I wanted to practice on myself, and I don't know why, but I'm struggling so much with that, and I'm struggling so much, and I'm getting always really frustrated because when I do a healing on myself, I get like, I told this to you, like the same limiting beliefs, and the next day the same, and it was like, it's the same, and it was like, oh my goodness, what I'm doing. And my ego is that, then again, you're not good enough, you're doing something wrong, and things like this. And it was so strong, this feeling, that I started to just do the divine touch on my clients. So I'm doing business coachings, and yes, it's so interesting to observe how I explain her the things that I should do, but I can't, I tell her things about self-love, and it's all so clear, and she's like, oh yes, oh my God, I got it now, and her life is changing. And yesterday she told me things that like some weeks ago wasn't able to think like this, and we cleared so many things out, and I gave her so many tools that I was guided to give her. And now she is like, oh my God, I have my perfect job, and I found a partner, and I'm like, wow, this
Good
is
for you.
amazing. But
How
I'm
did you
like,
do it?
why I can't do this for myself? And yes, this is so interesting to observe, but I don't know, this process helps me to detach from my ego and to trust in the process, and the healing I'm doing to her, I'm also doing to me. So I was thinking I did the divine touch, the level 3, and I have the tools and I can practice on me. No, but it manifested in a different way, and I'm so grateful to see this now. But it's just possible because I detach from the ego, and what I'm doing to do this, it's not just divine touch on others. It's, I have a morning routine that is for myself, and before I did a commitment to, I feel like to everyone else, like also to Andrew. I sit a lot with Andrew, and I committed to do this, and I realized, oh my God, this is not self-love. I should commit it to myself. And I realized that I'm starting always from the beginning, but now that I have this little bit more space between what I really feel, between the love and the ego, now I have the possibility to choose what, and to see and to decide every day new. And the combination of the practices I'm doing for others, the kundalini, the pranayamas I do at home, and my morning walks with conversations with God, is like, I don't know, I feel so peaceful, and so everything is changing. I'm doing really small baby steps. I mean, I'm talking a lot, like with my ego, as I said before, but at least I see something is moving. And before it was just stuck because my ego was stuck to me, like you mentioned before. And now that there is the space, something is changing. So
But you know, there's no baby step. You're
I
doing
was gonna say the
huge
same.
steps. The thing is, you are being aware of the steps,
yeah.
and this is what I'm telling you always. you need to be aware because you are teaching to others. If the things happen to you like magical, that could happen, yes, for many people it's like that, for us the same. But there's a process to coming down, I could say down, but it's coming again to the same point from before or a little bit up, so you can be again, make conscious then conscious, and be aware of each step. So then you can teach others. So sometimes we are so overwhelmed with this ego and the things, but it's just to see that. It's just to know that we need to do a step behind and to see this, so I can integrate the process. I can embody the process. I can see it. I can feel it. I can write it. I can jam it. So then it's so obvious, and you can share to others. And like you said, it's so obvious what that person needs to do to change, because you are being aware of it. Even if sometimes difficult to be aware of it, but you are doing it. You are being aware because you are teaching to others. You are being that light, that Christic consciousness to show. Yes?
Yeah, this is so, it's really, it happened to me a lot by doing the healing for others, because I still want to practice, and I see so many changes, and with me, I'm so stuck with this, and
You're not stuck.
No,
You don't
you're not
see the
stuck.
changes so clearly.
yeah,
It's-
and I'm not
it's
patient.
usually-
This is what is.
We're terrible at judging our own spiritual practice.
Right.
We can't judge our own progress.
It is difficult to see, but nothing is the same after you get initiated in something like this. And there's, in a sense, there's no way back. You can slow it down or speed it up. That is your decision. That's your free will, really. But just having a conversation with the ego, it is a very, very important thing. I learned a few years ago through a personal experience with this thing about ego, that I saw the ego in myself, and it was so shocking to see how the ego creates everything that I couldn't do anything for like a month. I always say that. And it was really tough, because we were teaching things, and I saw the ego in the teachings. If I had a session with one, I knew that the ego was kind of dealing with the session. And it was such an impressive thing that what I got out of that was, the same thing. There's no gray area. You either see the ego or you are the ego. There's nothing in between. So if you're not aware that everything that you do here could eventually will disappear, it is possible. That's a Christ state. But in the meantime, we're still playing in this area of like, you are the ego or you see the ego. So every time we do something and we think we're doing it, and we're not really present, seeing how the ego is engaging in this, because every action in creation, unless it's pure divine guidance, and that means that you will be talking of God, being God, and that's the only thing you will be doing every day, every breath. All the rest of the things are ego-based. So you either realize that is true, and you start working with it, talking with it, and kind of getting yourself into a higher alignment where there's no fear. There's no fear. The only thing you're going to do is talk about God. Nothing else, non-stop. And you will not care about how you pay your bills or anything, because the only thing that matters is the one thing that ever existed, and that you are that. And that is what all the great, saints, guru, illuminated people have done on earth. So having awareness of the ego in everything you're doing, it's a very important step. And to work with that and learn how to, use the mind, the energies, your capacities to kind of, okay, I will do this. I know it's the ego playing it out. I know I have to, do this and that, or talk to the person, do or work, because it's fear-based. Everything we do is fear-based, and that's ego. But you recognize, and you do little step until you move, and then there's more alignment, and you start, embracing your true identity, that is the one with God. Until suddenly, and I don't know, you know, I have glimpses of that, but I am not there. You are in perfect alignment, and there's no return. When you step out of the ego creation, you will be always out of the ego creation. And the thing about like clearing the same things one and again, it happened to me for, I don't know, it seems like a year at least, that I was every day doing healing to myself and trying to take, emotion things out,
It's a
and
mastery.
and they keep coming and they keep coming. But I never give up. I never give up.
It's a
That's the
mastery.
only thing that kept me going. I never give up. There's a will within myself that is stronger than anything else.
Yeah, but
Because, for example, this belief of I'm not value myself, I'm not worth enough, could be also hidden in so many ways, because it's the controlling of the ego. So it's there for you again, again this belief again, for you to be aware of it, where it is, and you can be conscious in changing it. Could be in your relationship, could be in your business, could be doing healing, could be just money issues, could be any role, being a daughter, yeah? In any role, there's the ego controlling you and pulling you down. You are not worthy, you are not enough. Yeah, so we'll be there, we'll be this, so you can be aware of it, where it is, and okay, I see you. Thank you so much. I bless you. I know who I am. Now I can take strength from within to really value myself in all those topics and really get detached from it.
I feel that my ego is
Get it?
trying to
Sí,
tell me
bonito,
this
porque-
even stronger, because I'm able to help others, to help themselves, and my ego is telling me you're doing it for everyone but not for yourself. And this is like this judging voice of my ego again, and it's like, wow, those discussions is like insane. I could write books.
But you're gonna transcend that. You're gonna transcend it. There's a divine timing for things, Of course, that the timing, in a sense, you can control it a little bit with discipline. If you're disciplined, you do certain things, you keep going with love, and patience, the times, reduce. And you eventually will, kind of have this, what was the word Mia used that I like? It's also the same in Spanish. Epiphany, you said? Yes. Yeah? By doing the divine touch or doing your thing to try to, take these things out that come back again and again, self-worth and so on, there will be a moment, this happened to me, where you have an epiphany, this is happening because there will be a shift in your mind. I can't explain how, but there will be a momentary time where you will pop out of that reality where you are creating that illusion, and you will see it from a higher perspective, and it will never come back again. Maybe a little bit sometimes, but it will be easy to go out, because you will step out of that illusion that you are creating for some reason. You hold that belief, you think that belief worth more than who you are, and when that makes no sense through whatever process you're doing, then suddenly you are out of it and it doesn't come back. Maybe a little bit, but it will be an echo of things. So for me, it was just about being very devoted, very consistent, and knowing that I was capable of transcending that
Gracias.
those things, and it just suddenly happened. And so within the experience we have gathered through these things is why we teach the things we teach in the way we teach it too. There's layers of things. So that's why we teach some things in the level 1, then these other things in the level 2. They are usually the ones that are controlling most of our thought forms, creations, on the world. And then when you start kind of taking a little control of that, or at least have a perspective of it, then you can really start using your divine connection in a more stronger way, and so you start climbing up into oneness. It will be okay.
Thank you. This
Yeah.
was really helpful.
Oh.
Do you want to share something?
Sure. I mean, for the last 20 years, I've been on a healing mission, and I feel like I got 70% of what I needed in little adjustments and improvements along the way, but I knew that I never had the root of it, and I feel like this is 100% it. Like, I feel so confident and so comfortable, and so excited to be here with you and in Costa Rica, and having the opportunity to continue this. I feel like this veil has been lifted, and I've got like a peek behind the curtain, and now I know what's possible, and the things that you're describing, Satya, about what is possible. Excuse me. It's amazing, and I just, when I was consistent, when I did the Divine Touch weekend, and then I did your 7-day meditation challenge, the whole time I felt amazing, and I haven't felt like that in my whole adult life. And then when I slipped back into my old habits, and it really shone a light on this mindset that I've been experiencing for the longest time, where I just like work and run myself into the ground, telling myself that I will take time for self-care and pleasure when I'm done. That's like never gonna come.
Never right. Never right.
Well, that's the entire mentality of the world we were born in.
Totally. And
You work, and you, how do you say, you jubilar? Anyway, when you get to a certain age, you can retire. Retirement.
Exactly. And why wait until then to enjoy things? And it's just, so it's really drawing attention to that habit. And
Wow, that's true.
yeah.
Yeah.
as soon as I slip back into it, and when I'm partially committed, I'm okay, but I'm not resilient. So that if another stressor impacts, then the pain returns, and the deeper I go out of it, the longer it takes to get back. And it's just like I can choose this every day instead of the pain,
Yeah.
or I can just have a migraine for an entire week a month. You know, like that's my choice. Like what would you do? So now I really need to just be really.
It's very
focused.
clear.
It's so clear. It's like it's perfectly clear, and now I just need to integrate this into my life so that it's so natural that I'll get there, and I'll just be able to not choose it. And I'm already finding that. So many things have been incredible. Even the shaking during the sessions that you were talking about, if you're not quite aligned well, then you can sort of rock your body with shaking and energy, and it's so amazing and it does feel good, and it's amazing to feel it, and it's amazing to I know I'm aligning myself more correctly now, and it's not happening quite as much, but it's so amazing to feel such energy moving, and I'm moving it, you know. So it's been incredible. It's felt like quantum leaps in the past couple of weeks. So I'm really excited. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's beautiful.
yeah.
And it's so empowering to know that it's possible, you know. And it's not many things that we really need to do. There's some knowledge that needs to be in place. There's some techniques that need to be in place. But the most important thing is you being, you know, consistent and knowing how to approach those things in your day-to-day life. And actually, for us, we talk about this. You know, it have been very amazing to see how much people have changed and how fast it happened.
Yeah.
Well, for many years, we've been teaching all of this, and most of the cases, people just have great experience with the divine touch and all of that, but they go entirely back to their lives afterwards, and they disappear. But for some reason now, and it's a combination of what's going on in Earth, it's a combination of the things that we have been integrated that have been
Maybe also
more
being here because
The
you are
energy-
more in this, you know?
Yeah, there is
You are out from the matrix, so you are more into the commitment.
yeah, there's an opening that is
Maybe also
better,
is that.
absolutely.
and this land is so powerful, but this area,
That's
it's
how it feels.
yeah.
It feels it's so easy, so much easier to be connected and feel.
Puerto Viejo is an energy. How do you say it? Energy
Vortex.
Vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the ley lines are here, the environment is here, you're surrounded
but also is
Go
also
to town after 10 o'clock.
for
And do
me.
your meditation then. Well, we should do that. Yes. Go to town and say that. Like, go hang out at like 9, 10 o'clock. Fascinating. Fascinating energy. Well, that's is the vortex, but going the other way. Yeah. And speaking of, on last Friday, I had planned to come here, to the singing gathering. I went to town, and I came back from town, and I just felt so depressed. And I couldn't quite figure it out, but I felt terrible.
You're
And
very sensitive to
all
any
these
energy.
negative beliefs, and like, I don't want to go there, and I don't even want to be seen. I went through this whole thing, and after a while, I figured out I had an interfering energy in my space. And I cleared that, and after a couple hours, my mind calmed down. I went and watched the sunset, which was amazing, in the coral pools with the lightning coming in, so it was it was an amazing time. But yeah, it was fascinating. I'm so happy to have that tool, because what might have taken days or longer,
Yeah.
it was very easy to clear.
Yeah, for that it doesn't happen to us, like being so not sensitive, but so vulnerable, I could say, to other energies. We need to strengthen our aura, and we need to strengthen our arc of light, the mind. Yeah. So that's also why Kundalini Yoga is so powerful for this, because we need to make stronger our energy. And the mind, make stronger the mind, so this type of energy doesn't bother us. Yeah.
Or we keep doing
Divine touch
Divine
is
touch.
a tool, and that's what
but
I'm going
also
to
by
say.
doing divine touch, you strengthen those things.
Yes.
Combination of
And in a
Yeah,
sense,
the combination is
in level
tremendous.
4, we're gonna be working more with the subtle bodies. That's one of the things that are gonna be there. So we will learn how to, strengthen them, or move them, or align them. So
Yes.
there's, these fields. You don't need to go to a 90-minute, Kundalini Kriya thing and be there like I'm doing this and stretching and all of that. That I would always suggest you do anyway, but you can do that easier and more fast in other ways as well.
We teach that in the 4th level.
Yeah.
I have a question and the idea that came up to me because I realized I'm going back to Germany soon to visit family, friends.
I was going there. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And yes, I feel that there are coming a lot of triggers. So my idea just came up. What would if I talk to my dad and a lot of triggers coming up? I just write down on a paper all the triggers and then I clear them out.
Yes.
Do you have is it like, should I do the healing on him then or on myself? Because all the triggers, I know that there will be a lot.
Yeah, one is you.
You and him are one.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it doesn't matter if you're doing it to the person or to you. If you're doing it with, it would be great if we, write down all the people that we hate, or all the people that are our enemies in a certain degree in life, and trigger things. It could be our parents. Well, very often a family, it is that. And then you do something with all of them, with the worst ones. Do divine touch. Do the process of letting go and healing. And divine forgiveness, depending on the resources you have, and that will be working on you, because that person is your creation. If you see it from the perspective of creation God that you are. So that is part of you. It is within you. It is in your consciousness. It's not outside, really. So
Yeah,
it doesn't
I have
matter what way we did. So it's perfectly good what you said before. I'm doing more divine touch to others than to me.
Exactly. That's what I
In-
experienced. I realized now when you were telling me. Yes.
And it is perfectly good. I think maybe soon, or I don't know when, it will go a little the opposite way. You will start engaging more into ways of self-healing. And understanding the depth of maybe divine forgiveness, because that thing about divine forgiveness is not a thing that we can express or tell. It's a thing that will happen. You know, there needs to be a certain degree of understanding, like in the mind, in the brain, kind of thing, um, and there has to be a certain alignment and a degree of faith, and then these things start happening, and it happens within your own self. So, at the very beginning, we mostly do things outside, and it's okay.
Yeah,
But later on, everything will go within, because if you align yourself, you align creation. Creation is aligned through you, because you are the point of creation of the entire thing that is playing out here. From your perspective, right now, you are creating me to tell you whatever is I'm telling you now. So it's entirely your play, and each one have their own kind of angle into this, and I have my own.
Yeah, I have seen so many times in meditation how people is my reflection. It's my creation. With my family, it's amazing. With my parents, it's amazing. And this is this part of your ego, and she is this part of your ego, and he is this part of your ego. It's like, so just loving and accepting that part of us, that is also again to be aware of it, also again to make conscious than conscious, and to keep loving unconditionally ourselves more and more and more. It's this. It's this. It's us. It's the family. And what I was going to say is that I have seen how these tools also, they are so powerful to when we go back home. It happens to me when I came to Chile the last time, and people also has telling us. Now I got tools to work in myself when all these family issues come, like again.
You just go to
everybody,
the bathroom and start doing your thing.
Yeah, everybody
take a little
knows
bit,
that
10
we go
minutes.
back to our families, all the triggers start to appear, all the buttons, and you have everything there to work on it.
What is your favorite thing when you're like sitting with family and you're trapped into something, and then you just breathe? Or what is your
Sometimes
SOS
I get
tool?
a trap, and my
Yeah.
ego starts.
And when it's too late, what do you do?
You can use a symbol. You can use a symbol.
Yes.
And any time, any moment when you become conscious, like when you're at an ego, or, for me, the changing point, I was in this state of this cycle of unworthiness, and I did level 3, but just the forgiveness. I just read through the forgiveness part, which is the gold for me in level 3, and I've been using that in the sessions. But I got one that I need to know, and it was like, I am worthy because I am one
The
with God on
presence of
earth.
God. Yeah.
And since I did that part has not come back. That particular ego part. So, but I'm really grateful for. I've been using that, especially with one person, just the divine forgiveness, and if there's any messages that come through that. After I do kind of my level 1 and 2 healings.
Yeah.
But, I love the divine, you and me in one, and nothing ever happened.
Nothing ever
Nothing.
happened.
Yeah,
ever
that's what I love
happened.
to remember that. But I'm struggling with the lover idea and the partner idea, and I withdrew contact from my long-term soul friend, the last couple of weeks, and every time I get this epiphany, what I think is, and I ask my higher self, it's like, no, don't contact her, because my ego says one thing, and then I connect in, and like the guidance of the truth, nope, don't. It's just the ego. So this talk about the ego versus the higher mind, I feel like I'm a baby.
It is a very tricky thing, but if we're consistent again, understanding that those things are in play somehow, and we keep trying to engage with the higher mind, with the truth, with God, divine self, it will just change things faster and faster and faster, and it would be more easy to go through things. Definitely. Well, I do think that it's good to test ourselves. You know, it's one thing to be in a bubble here, maybe, but going at 10 p.m. to Puerto could be, a thing. But why don't you go there and experience, everyone drinking and doing the thing, and feel how it works, and then do your thing to work it out. You just increase the speed of your evolution. So in a sense, it's a good thing. I enjoyed that a little bit. Right. Well, I was gonna say about your question, like, what do you do when you are, in a place or with your family? Well, I would first of all always recommend to be aware of your breath. If you practice, and you can do that from now, like not later, not in the moment. If you learn how to be aware of the breath while you engage life, talking to people, while you talk, you can be aware of breath. While you're listening someone, you can be aware of breath. While you do any type of task, you can be aware of breath. That will always give you spaciousness, and you will always be in a certain degree of alignment. So if you train yourself to be always aware of how the breath is going, that is the first step. The second step is try to always have a deep breath. Because if you are forcing a little bit the breath to be deeper, there's no chance, there's no possibility at all, it will never happen that your mind will start triggering things. Because the breath controls the mind. And that is the whole science of yoga. The thing is that
Can you please say that again?
if you're aware of your breath, and you keep focusing in a kind of a deep breath, but it doesn't need to be like, be you in control of the intake of air and exhale of air, and obviously having yourself a little relaxed, especially the abdomen, the diaphragm, because this is when this contracts, you are lost. If this area is contracted, the ego engaged, you are lost. So this is to be relaxed. If you're focusing the breath, and you are in controlling the breath, the ego mind will never take control over you. So, and that is the whole science of yoga, really, in a big degree, because they learn that if you control your breath, you control your mind. And if you control your mind, you control your emotions, and you control the things you think, of course. So if you practice that, and you kind of have a good practice, you can go everywhere, and you will be always present. I will add up to that, having a certain degree of visualization, inner visualization of your pillar of light at the same time. That will give you, a different flow of the energy. The energy will not only be, through lungs to brain kind of thing, and heart-brain coherent. It also will give a flow through the entire chakra system. So those things are very powerful. Of course, other things, if you have time, you're going to meet your family, well, do a healing, a entire divine touch session on advance in the time frame, for the time frame you're going to be there.
Great idea.
So if you know that you're going to be there from, 6 to 10, well, stretch it out, and say, okay, I want to do divine touch to the house and everyone there for whatever is going to happen between 5 and 10. Or you don't need to really do the timing, but I think it will work good in the mind. And so then you prepare the energies of the space. When you go in, you can be more aware of that, and just try to tap into the energy that you already built and the things you already changed there. So there's more empowerment in you.
Yes, and doing that, and rehearsing where you're going to go before.
Right.
And how you feel already, you can even go into a trigger, but I put the symbols when I go into town especially, I go in a bar and I'll put the symbol. And what's funny is now I am completely invisible when I'm in certain I feel like nobody is aware of me at all.
You can play with people, like, and see if they see you. Yeah, well, the symbols are also a good resource.
They've been incredible.
Very good resource. And the last thing I would say, but this is more difficult for people to do, wake up very early in the morning and do a practice. But I'm saying not like 3:30, 4:30 in the morning, and do a spiritual long practice like the Aquarian Sadhana kind of thing, or whatever, a Kriya, breath work, but try to have time to talk with God, align with God, do the entire divine touch, process, try to stretch it out, because first of all, when you do that very early in the morning, your brain doesn't know the difference between sleeping or being awake. And so when you do the divine touch process or any type of spiritual technology that you can apply at those times early in the morning, you rewire very deep your mind, because you are in those theta states, or even gamma states, where you are in the unconscious mind. So when you're chanting a mantra, for example, the ones we use that says I'm God and me are one, and all those words, even if you don't understand them, the vibration dives deeper than ever before. So what happens is that you change the entire frequency of your day, but also throughout the day you're going to be more tired, and that is a good thing. So because if you're more like a little more restful, your system doesn't really engage. You have felt that when when you wake up early and you're more tired. But you don't need to drink coffee or anything that is something that stimulates your nervous system. Especially if you're going to go to a place where there will be triggers. Do the opposite. Drink like lavender tea or something, something that will relax you. Yeah. It is true, this. It's just very difficult to explain what happened when you do certain things. Like that Aquarian mantra would be maybe weird for a lot of people. But if you take out that out of the equation and kind of focus into the devotion to God and use those resources in a proper way, and even if you don't believe it so much, the energy that builds, I can sense it. The energy that builds around that is very powerful. So I'm 100% certain that changes even a person that is sitting here and it will have an effect. So yeah, there's quite a potency on that.
Yeah.
And I would really love to do it at 3:30 in the morning one day, because that's another level.
I've been studying wake up at 3:30 4 like every single day.
And why is that another level? How is that another level?
Well,
The mind is in another frequency.
first of all, what I was saying, when you wake up at 3:30 in the morning or 4, usually 3:30, depending on the time zone and the angle of the sun and so on, but your system is still sleeping. The hormones in your body are still saying you're asleep. The wave brain.
What if you haven't gone to
How do you
sleep
say
yet?
that? The brain waves are.
What if you've been up all that time?
Well, it would be
Is it different?
like you didn't sleep and you
Yeah.
come to that. I don't know. I haven't experienced, but for sure there will be an effect. There's no doubt. It's like you do a Kundalini Kriya or whatever time of the day you feel different, or you do a pranayama, you feel different. But there's this thing about like waking up and like the system is still sleeping in a certain degree. The other thing that is also very important is that at 3:30, when you start this, there's a specific, well, not 3:30, but you have to start the sadhanas at a 60-degree angle between the point you are and where's the sun. So that 60-degree angle, the sun have a different electromagnetic influence from the perspective of where it is and where you are. So it's weakened. The electromagnetic field in that specific angle, in the place where you are, is weakened from the influence of the sun and the things around. So there's less intensity of electromagnetic influence of the earth, and that is another layer that the yogis have discovered, and they do it for a long time.
And the collective mind.
And
too.
that is the third thing. Usually at that time, most of people is sleeping, and that really affects. It's like going to Puerto Viejo when they're partying at 10 versus maybe going I don't know, at 6 in the morning, and you can be there and you feel a little more calmness. So when you do that spiritual practices at that time, everything is multiplied. You know, everything it's enhanced, and so that's why the yogis do it at that time.
I agree. I feel a totally different shift since 2 weeks. I'm waking up at 5 and then I put my earpods in and then I do a meditation like 20 minutes in bed. I put a cushion here to really not sleep again. And then that my head is more up. And as I said, all this changes is since I'm doing this. So maybe something is going deeper. Now it makes sense what you're explaining because your body is still sleeping and it really goes deep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we could do this so early in the morning.
Of course, I just didn't do it the first time because it's there's
More people
Oh.
will come at 6.
there's still a few coming at 6. So like 3:30, it will be like maybe myself. And maybe some of you now that you kind of understand a little bit more what's going on.
What's going on with you? It's 3:30.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe hopefully we can make it happen. At least one to have the experience. It would be nice. And then you have the sunrise. You do this while the sun is coming up, and so you're supposed to kind of finish the practice when the sun rises. So it's also beautiful. Okay, so it's a little late, but what if we?
For doing this practice, I would like to open the space with the Om Namo, with the Kundalini mantra, the mantra. So we can bring palms together, touching thumbs to the chest. So keep your eyes open and see through the eyes of your partner. Try to make a conscious breath, relaxing the abdomen and the diaphragm while you inhale. And then softly your navel point goes in when you exhale. And be aware of your breath. And connect with your partner by looking at his or her eyes. Look into the soul. And we would like to close this sacred space, chanting the long time sun, coming back to our hearts, remembering that truth that lives within us, and we can spread it, we can expand it through our roots, like if we were a tree, through our branches, to our families and loved ones, to our friends, to everybody, to all the humankind and to all this universe. Shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. May the long time the pure light within you. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Guide your way on. Satnam. May all beings throughout creation find peace, love, and freedom. Satnam.
Satnam. It is it's a very subtle, but the way it works, it's just like a whisper kind of thing. Just start moving in and moving around, and if you are still in stillness or in deep, openness and meditative mind, you can feel how this energy is opening and clearing. It's a very divine way it works, and it's not so easy to feel it. But it goes, it's like open space between, little holes, and start like moving around and doing things. Usually, it's not like a very strong sensation. It's just, like angels kind of whispering and touching and moving and going in.
For me today it was like a ray, a torment,
Yes.
like
Well, it's possible to feel it like that. I
like
saw.
a ray or like a torment, like
Like
a
lightning.
see, like a
Because-
lightning going and
when we were doing the eye contact, I was looking past you, and lightning was in the sky. Actually,
Literally.
literally.
Well, for me, it was like when I was going through you, for everyone, it was like suddenly there was this divine presence, like, but when it gets closer to your field, it's just like it reduces speed and start like a dance,
see,
kind
for
of
me
very,
it's a dance.
very, it's like it doesn't want to be seen in a, but it's not that,
Slow motion.
It's like a very subtle way of, without disturbing, just
Like
bringing
searching
in the presence and moving things around. So generally, most people don't really acknowledge in the process unless you are very, open and subtle and relaxed and all of that. But how it works out, and it start opening and reshaping and letting go of things, and suddenly there's a shift that sometimes we can easily recognize from one instant of time to another one. There's a different sensation in the body. The mind start having different thoughts, or just more stillness, more spaciousness. And anyway, it's just really wonderful to
Yeah, and I
see.
see the energy like dancing and doing the infinite movements, and then goes up and then comes down again. And I saw in a few of you like after it's the Kundalini energy, the spirit going up and then comes down again very strongly, and I could see like lotus flowers coming down into your feet, like you are God's here. You are divine souls here, and I could see those petals and flowers opening, and I could see you walking in this earth like really, really knowing the truth and committed to the truth, and oh, it was so beautiful to experience that. Thank you so much. I felt the womb of Divine Mother, the creativity of life, really, really awakening and doing what is needed, and an awakening, yes, giving us awakening. So beautiful. Thank you so much.
I heard the voice of God saying things to all of you. And try to remember each one. But for you it was, I see you. For you it was, I love you. For you it was, you are divine. For you it was I love you too. And for you was, me and you are one. And that was the voice of God, and it was very clear, crystal clear. So I kind of helped to, get into that. And for some reason it came like that. At least the words that I can express now. Thank you. And it always saying the same thing or expressing itself in the same way, but we don't listen. But
We
there,
are listening.
yes, we are opening ourselves to really embrace that. Yeah, it was beautiful. Thank you so
I don't
much.
want to leave